But today we must take a wider look. Because of modern communication and modern technology, the whole world has become our neighborhood. And we are demographically moving closer and closer to each other, and we've become a neighborhood without becoming a brotherhood.
Journeyman is a platform where men can lay down their titles, grow together, learn from each other, and be accountable to each other. Many of us deal with several problems throughout our lives, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. At times, we may feel alone in our troubles. However, Journeyman is a space where you can feel safe expressing yourself with other men that are on the same path. Journeyman is a space for people like myself who never thought they would be living purposefully in their life.
Hey, we got the man in the house, man. My brother Tony's in the house. Glad to be here. We're here at Sharpen tonight, man. Welcome back, man. We got a little bit of KB bumping tonight, man. Some King Jesus. If you don't know who that is, go check it out, man. KB's got some good slumps. But man, welcome to Sharpen, man.
Well,
good evening.
Thank you for having us.
Good evening. So, man, we are back. We're here every second Thursday and fourth Friday of the month with guests who we believe that are living out this mission in their lives. And I'm super excited, man, to have my other brother co-host in here, Sergio. What's going on, man?
How you doing? I need a DJ name for you,
Hey,
Jose.
get it, man. Whatever, man. Whatever you want to call me.
I'll come up with one.
All right. Man, I'm super excited, man. Just as if people are tuning in, do us a favor, just share this post with all your contacts there. We're live on YouTube as well as Facebook. Give us a holler. Let us know where you're watching from. Give us in the comments. Trying to build them algorithms up. Is that how you say that?
I believe so. Yes.
I don't know how to say that. But, man, we're super excited to be back tonight at Sharpen. And, really what this is a very organic conversation, just men having fun, surrounding conversation about how we're doing in the areas of faith, family, and community, and what's going on with that, and how we can create communities of support surrounding commitment and accountability to strengthen our lives in these three areas. And so Sharpen is just a form of development for men, as well as to share stories and other topics surrounding individuals who we believe are doing this in their life, man. And I'm excited, man, because I have my buddy Tony. Tony, give him a big round of applause. Yeah, a big crowd in there. There's a big crowd in the room, man, for you, man. That's the thing.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. So Tony's a good friend of mine. We've been connected for several years, and man, I'm just excited to hear more of his story tonight. And I know Tony is killing the area here, and we got some extra broadcasts coming in, but it's all good. Yeah, we're getting it down, sir. You got it down. You good? But no, I'm really excited, man, because Sharpen is here, Journeyman is here. We're a faith-based organization, or a group of guys, really not an organization. We're just a group of guys that are committed to having these conversations surrounding commitment and accountability that other men or other circles are not having. And what we want to do is we want to focus on strengthening our weaknesses, and also what we're good at, but at times learning and increasing our knowledge and skill from one another. That's really what we're about. And, a lot of folks are faith-based committees or organizations that, highlight certain things, maybe salvation, Bible study, and so forth, which is essential. It's essential piece. But here at Journeyman, we want to deepen that conversation about commitment and accountability for support for the journey. And each of us sometimes every day step into the ring, depending on what we're doing and how our lives are and what life circumstances bring, man. Most of us are fathers, sons, leaders of some sort, and doing some things hard. And we feel like Journeyman is a space for men to create opportunities of commitment and support for one another for the areas that we're willing to be committed to in our life and know that we need to talk about. So, man, I am excited because I got Tony Tostado in the house. Antonio Tostado.
Junior.
Junior, yeah. Antonio Tostado Jr., man. So when did we meet, Tony? Man, it's been a long time, huh?
Well, we've always been in a circle of friends since high school. So
Yeah.
like I've known
Shout out Downey High.
Yeah, Downey High, Hanshaw, Bret Hart.
Yes, sir.
Yep. But we really didn't connect till after the leadership summit that we had.
Yeah.
The Global Leadership Summit.
GLS.
Yeah, GLS. Probably was like 19 or so.
Yeah, 2019.
Was
I
it?
think so, around there. And that was at the one church. Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
And then after that, we just clicked, man. Our journeys just crossed by, and we were going through the same stuff. So
Yeah. It was dope, man. It was a really cool reconnection. How we kind of got back together in 2019. Tony was working for a company for years. Yeah, and then I'll let you tell more of that story here soon. But how we just kind of journeyed together through that process and sharpened each other through that process as well. Man, I'm just learning from each other. That was really cool to see. So Tony, man. So who is Tony? Let's start from the getting, man. Like, where are you from? Where were you born? What hood are you in? What school did you go to? Let's start there, man. Let's talk about little Tony.
Little Tony.
Yeah.
Well, I was born in Mexico.
Okay.
Guanajuato. And I came to California when I was 3. My parents brought me over here.
Yeah.
And then grew up here in Modesto. So I went to Bret Hart, went to Hanshaw, and then I went to Downey. Just making a mess of life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not knowing what I was doing.
Right.
And then, let's see what happened. Fell in love with cars. First love was cars.
Yeah.
And then I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a mechanic.
Yeah.
And then from there, it's just like took the easy way to school. I don't know. I don't even understand how people flunk. You know what I mean?
I
'Cause
hear you.
didn't even try. And
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be a
It
mechanic.
was the looks,
I'm
bro.
not gonna be the doctor. Huh?
It was your looks.
It was my
what-
looks. Yeah. It was. I don't know.
I had to work
just-
harder.
God just put the right people around me, because I always feel like I had like it wasn't an accident.
Right.
Like the right person was there, set me up, and
Yeah.
I just went through the door. So that's really what happened. And took the easy way in high school, went to a tech school. And then while I was going to tech school, I wanted to, there was like 3 brands of automotive industries that I wanted to be. So,
Yeah.
hey, could I wash cars?
Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
that's how I just entered, you know, and
Yeah.
every day. And then someone gave me the opportunity.
Yeah.
So, hey, come in. You're going to be doing oil changes.
Yeah.
And then from there, I became a mechanic.
Yeah.
You just blowing my money away.
Yeah.
No discipline, no nothing, like everybody did, you know, party on the weekends.
Yeah.
And then from there, God continued to bless me, and, you know, started my family. You know, I was blessed with an incredible wife. And then my kids started coming around, and that's when something clicked.
Yeah.
Something clicked where I had to be more responsible. I needed to be a father. I needed how could I be a better man?
Yeah.
A better husband, you know. So then you start cutting things off that just doesn't align
Right.
what you want, you know, your ideal personality, who you want to be.
Yeah.
And then doors open even more. I think management at the dealership that I was working then saw that, gave me the opportunity, became a leader, then became a manager, and then more responsibility, because now I was responsible for, you know, more technicians and training them.
Yeah.
And from there, God knocked again. He wanted me to leave.
Yeah.
And that was tough,
Yeah.
because money, everything was good.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So hold off right there.
Yeah.
So the journey to get to the mechanic spot, seems like you were an entrepreneur at heart already. Like, I mean, just walking up to the door and knocking on the door and say, hey, man, I'm willing to wash cars. Just give me a chance.
Yeah, yeah.
So from that moment, like,
Little
where did
I know?
yeah, where did the entrepreneur spirit come from? Is that your parents, or did they have their own business?
No, not really. I think the seed was planted in my mom's heart a long time ago, because she said she had dreams about, owning a restaurant and being in business. And she's actually always had like little side hustles,
Wow.
I think we always picked that up from my mom. And, my dad had a 9 to 5,
Right.
just working all the time. And my mom's more of the dreamer, and my dad is more of the responsible. But yeah, when I stepped away from the dealership, I didn't really see an entrepreneur. I just wanted the safe,
Right.
the safety net. You know what I mean? And yeah, it just God. You know the story how God told me to get out. So
Right. Yeah. No, that moment was. So I can remember that time, that conversation that we had. We were sitting there and we were talking about like the different scenarios and things of that sort, and the comfortability and everything like that, man. And that's the reason why we wanted to highlight your story, because I think part of where you've come from, right? You come from South Modesto, right? I mean, the hood, right?
the hood,
So
South Side.
and we ran the streets together out here, and we understand what the barriers and things, the struggles that families have out here. Is your family still out here, or
No.
Okay,
No, they're in series now.
they're in series now.
Yeah.
Okay, so but like even just understanding the barriers out here and in school and how to get to school and all the other stuff and the puddles and everything else, right? I mean, just kind of just seeing, and even hearing your story coming from Mexico over this way, it was a grind, right?
Yeah, so I saw my parents do it, my grandparents do it, so
Yeah, and I remember that conversation that we were sitting down, and you were, I mean, the successful at your job. I mean, you were at a well-known company with a degree in mechanics and a leadership role, and like at this crossroads.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember, and we were sitting there, and I'm like, wow, this is awesome to see. But like as you stepped into that ring, meaning like you had a decision to make.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and it was a safety blanket, like you said, about making good money. You were killing it, right? I mean, you're
It's very comfortable. Yeah.
very comfortable, and
Which isn't good.
Right.
I don't recommend comfortable.
yeah, no, that's good. So I mean, in that process of being comfortable and then making this decision of transition, what were some of the thought processes in your mind at that moment, man?
Well, I knew God had a bigger purpose for me, and my whole journey as becoming a team leader and a producer in the automotive and just producing for making numbers,
Yeah,
and then trying to teach other people to do that, and then managing people. People that didn't want to be managed.
Yeah.
Some people, I've learned a lot. So all those steps made me who I am today, and then try to apply those things, or even how to even fix a car. So I bring that and apply it to the world. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And everything just makes sense.
yeah,
The way I look at things, things make sense.
Yeah.
And I was praying, and then I felt trapped.
yeah,
Felt like I'm in this building, comfortable,
yeah,
but I feel like there's still something more.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So then at that point, I'm all, what do I need to do? And then he answered. He's all like, you need to leave. You need to you need to talk to other people.
yeah,
Not the same people every day and go in circles, because that's how I felt.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And then, so I'm okay. You know how you try and negotiate with God? All right.
Doesn't work.
This is not, this is not what you're telling me.
Yeah,
All right. So answer this, and man, I asked for something and he laid it out like that.
Wow.
Quick.
yeah,
He didn't hesitate. It wasn't like a week later, nothing, boom. All right. And I don't believe in coincidence,
Yeah.
When I wasn't walking with God, that's a coincidence.
yeah,
That's a coincidence.
Yeah.
But then when you're walking with God, you see all the miracles, you're like, Hallelujah. There
Right.
you go. I see. You know what I mean? And
That's good.
and I'm like, nah,
Yeah.
I can't leave this. This
Right.
is like my career.
Right. How long were you there, bro?
I was 21 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. And then I just put my month notice. They thought I was playing. And then there was a little quiet time. And I'm like, wait, where'd you go?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think
Oh,
we even
man,
had
the
a
wilderness.
conversation. Yeah.
The
I think
wilderness.
we even had a conversation about like, oh, what should I do? And then doors opened.
Yeah.
I mean, other dealerships heard
Yeah.
and they wanted me, and I felt blessed. And I'm like, oh yeah, but I'm not gonna go through the same cycle. That's not what God wanted me to do.
Yeah.
And then prayed a little bit about it, and he put something in my heart that I'm still working on. But after that, it was stepping stone. So became a life coach
Yeah.
through John Maxwell's team, and then became a personal trainer, a fitness trainer, and then in nutrition. So I believe I can help reach more people that way.
Yes.
And if they don't believe in God, then my faith will drop seeds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then those are little stepping stones where I can still reach people and offer something. Since I know how, I don't know it all, but
Yeah.
like I can understand and I can communicate to people so they can understand stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of God's gifts that I do possess, and I'm just trying to take
Step by
those
step,
steps.
huh?
Yeah, I'm still in this middle journey. It's not
Yeah.
like there's a happy ending yet or anything. You know what I mean?
Nah, man.
But I do love. I want to say having to start over
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's like part of me. I do miss working on cars,
Right.
but part of me is like, oh, it would be so much easier if I just go back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But starting and grinding it all again, and I know with the way that my discipline, I'm gonna get back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and that's the journey that I'm in right now.
Yeah. Sergio, you got something there?
Yeah, I captured a couple thoughts, man. I think, as you tell your story, what I hear is obedience.
Yeah.
And it sounds really easy and smooth, like obedience, right? But it's hard, man. And some of us are knuckleheads,
Facts.
right? And there might be folks maybe right now who find themselves at a crossroad too. And so I was wondering, well, couple of thoughts. One, what was that process for you? Because trusting God, I think for sometimes it's a process, or maybe sometimes it's just like a jump. But I'm going to trust you.
Mm-hmm.
But it sounds like in your head you were kind of like leveling things out. Like, well, I have a good here, but God is telling me this.
Yeah.
But, I really want this.
It's my flesh fighting it.
Yeah.
You know what I
Right,
mean?
it's flesh versus spirit, right? And then you said something earlier, when you were sharing your story that caught my attention. And you said, when my kids were born.
Mhm.
And, sometimes there's folks with kids and they still don't have it together. I don't know who does, right?
Right.
But I was curious, man, of like what that picture looked like for you, right? And I have nephews and a baby niece now. And so not kids of my own, but I think kids do hold a certain accountability,
Yeah.
right? Where you're like, well, if I'm going to be careless with my life, at least I should, be mindful of like my nieces and nephews, like what are they gonna say?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so kind of if you want to, wherever you want to take it, whether it's on the concept of like this process of being obedient, of trusting God, or just kind of the impact your that pivot moment too, because I'm sure God had a role in that, right? And I think He'll show you things through people.
Yes.
And I'm curious, what did He show you in your children? And then how did He speak to you in that moment where you had to kind of step from the comfort zone? And I think I always say, man, difficult things are a bummer. They suck. But it's where we grow the most, right? These uncomfortable spots. I think of Paul, right? Remove this thorn. But
Right.
yeah, but that's where I think you grow. So yeah, what was that growth? What was your journey of trusting, of jumping? And how do your kids play into it in the beginning?
Well, we'll start with my kids first, because not until I was irresponsible. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
was blowing my paychecks every weekend, you know, hanging out with people and didn't have anything in my savings, and just the teenage thing. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? The young 20s thing.
Yeah.
And the sooner
You're
you
not
get
20?
out of
I thought you were 20 years old, bro.
You're like-
that, so the sooner you get out of that, the sooner you can actually build something and really get to know who you really are or who you really want to be. And my kids, like, they grounded me, number one. And then now I need to provide, right?
That's good.
And then I had a good job, but I was just comfortable. What I was doing is just fixing cars and whatever. But now I was actually taking more of a role of actually trying to mentor. Okay, boss, give me more responsibility. What do you need done? All right, you know, trying to prove myself. And then that's when I actually started reading books, believe it or not. It wasn't in high school.
Yeah, I heard that.
It was actually, and it's all self-development books, and like, it's all common sense, and everything gets repeated, but
Yeah.
it's actually applying it. You know what I mean? You go like, oh, that works.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to be, have my kids to be proud of me. And then I want my kids to be better than me. So I have to put that standard pretty high.
Yeah.
Because I want them to reach everything. So that happened, and promotions and raises and more responsibilities came with that. So it works. You know what I mean? You just got to apply it. Now, when God was, I don't know, maybe God was telling me to stop doing what I was doing a long time ago, but I was just listening, you know? But when I actually felt trapped and it was just repetitive,
Yeah.
and there was nowhere else where I was going to be growing, that's really when I'm all like, okay, God, what is there for me? Because I know you promised me everything, and I'm already doing everything you're asking me to do. So then at that point, he laid it out on me like, yo, you're not just here to mentor 20 people. You need to communicate with other people. And I'm just trying to be the bridge on whatever lessons they're wanting to learn. For example, if it's fitness, people know there's so many fitness trainers out there. But the audience that God's going to give me is he wants me to communicate that with them and then drop a seed for him. And that's really where my faith that's the picture he painted for me, you know? And I asked specific questions to God when I was going to leave the dealership. I'm all like, okay, God, if you want me to do this, right, let me see this. And that was like me, like, fighting it, not being all obedient, like, yo, it's just easy, you know? But
Yeah.
But just to answer me, Jose knows he like made it 10 times. Like, he made sure it was that, like, I knew.
Yeah.
You were saying, God, I'll be obedient, but it's gonna cost you.
No, but he,
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's amazing. And I'm on that journey right now.
That's good. Yeah, no, that was good, man. So talk a little bit too about your so now you took you took a step of faith, basically in obedience to what your father was telling you in this arena of entrepreneurship, right? I mean, that's kind of where you've been. So you're in this journey now of having a check come in every week or every other week or monthly, whatever it was, to now like in the space of like walking on the water, right? That's kind of when you and I had a conversation. And what's unique about it is like I was in this active obedience space as well. You know, I was like in this transition period of like hearing God, what he was telling me and my family to do, and leaving the comfortable to go to the unknown. And we connected then. which was crazy because, it was kind of this, we were encouraging one another in that space and just learning, like, man, dude, you're doing this practically and I'm doing this practically in different ways, and similar things of what I went through in that process. We were able to encourage one another through that. But I think what was cool about it is just seeing the yes and the steps of faith going into action. So now you're a life coach, right? You're pretty much a life coach. And what are some 4 areas that you can talk about, or 3 to 4, whatever, 1 or 2, of what you try to encourage your clients to take a dive in as they're journeying in this wholeness health? Because Strong Living Company, what is that? Can you start with that? What is Strong Living Company?
Yeah, so Strong Living Company is a all-round wellness company that's going to help you achieve your goals. Plant some disciplines, give you some ideas, not give you ideas, ask the right questions so you can aspire your own ideas and you grow, At the same time is so we can actually plant and, share the kingdom of God. So from life, the whole Deion Sanders, look good, feel good, and play good.
Yeah,
I think that's what we're all meant to be doing in every day.
Mm-hmm.
You want to feel good, you want to look good, and you want to play good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the whole concept. But there's a bigger thing. I think that's just like a tool or a company that we started just for like a platform.
Okay.
I think there's more to that. And there's, I don't want to, spoil the surprise or anything, but it should be, there's some more coming.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good. And so I know that through this process of life coaching and getting clients healthy, it's physically, mentally, emotionally, and healthy eating too, right?
Mm-hmm.
All that stuff is all incorporated into your
It's
program.
just coaching, yeah.
Yeah, primarily. And so, yeah, I mean, I've obviously I haven't been following up really well with my life coach, but but I still follow and understand like the concept of what you're trying to do, and it's it's life giving, man. The time that you get to invest into people and so forth. So, so Strong Living Company is one act of faith that you jumped into, right? And so,
it was a form of me giving back and reaching out to people.
yeah. And so now, like with the John Maxwell leadership coaching and all that other stuff, that's all incorporated.
Yep.
Nice, awesome. And so now, and I think your wife, she's also part of the company too, right? She has her own, has her own type of piece. What does she do?
She focuses more on the skin.
Got it.
The skin part.
Yeah.
So she has an FDA machine that is that accelerates collagen regeneration.
Okay.
So as we're aging, and if you're eating the correct nutrition, and then with these treatments, it actually it helps it accelerates the collagen regeneration. So it helps with cellulite, fat burning, shrinks fat cells, and helps with wrinkles.
Nice.
So it's the whole look good part.
Yeah, the look good, feel good. Go ahead, Serge.
Sign me up. I do have a thought actually.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
As you continue to share, and it's kind of a spin off from Sunday sermon, but a couple of things, right? Billy Graham, because we're off a faith podcast.
Yes.
Always talked about, and I had this conversation with my supervisor at work today. Work for the Lord, and that could look in different ways. And sometimes there are situations where you go to your job or your business, and you're not necessarily intentional about like sharing the gospel. Mm-hmm. But then there's other situations where you can be, right? And I'm like, man, how awesome is that? And then the Sunday sermon spinoff is it was about like who we're investing in, right? And so I heard. This word came up. It's investing.
That's good.
So I think it's awesome that you're doing both, right? You're investing in people, and you're sharing the gospel, right? And they talked about Paul, right? He invested in Timothy. And so what I've shared with you, Timothy, go and share it with others. And so, man, I think it's awesome, the seeds that you're planting, man. I think you took that leap of faith, leaving the dealership, and God is just expanding his, often they use metaphors of agriculture, right, as seed, man. Putting so many seeds in these people, and very intentional in sharing, right, like you mentioned earlier. That word.
Actually being more intense with intention and direction, you know, and just keep taking those steps.
Yeah.
Because we can forget sometimes, you know, not to share and why we're there and why is that even clients in front of you?
Right.
Maybe it'll be, I don't know, a client she's trying to treat cellulite.
Right.
And Julia, with her personality and, you know, sharing, you know, how God's so good to us.
Yeah.
Spark something.
The gospel.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Nice. That's cool, man. So now with the Strong Living Company, you took the step of faith there, and you launched that. And so let's talk about your other business, man. Like, how did you step into the arena with Alto's Cocina Mexican Grill? So.
All right. So Alto's is another just God opening another door, because in nutrition, my goal was, I'm going to teach people all the hacks on how they can eat healthy and still have fun and still eat good food with flavor. You know? It doesn't have to be broccoli and rice and chicken, just no salt. You know what I
I
mean?
don't know who likes that stuff.
And then so I'm eating stuff, and then I started, you know, working on my fitness, and then I got the results. So then that's the kind of things that people want. So that's my avenue, my bridge, in order for me to try and teach that to other people. If I can do it, you can do it too. Come on, let's do it.
Yeah.
And people replied with, well, you're already meal prepping. Why don't you just meal prep for me?
Yeah.
You know? So I'm like, all right, I guess. It's extra cash, so why not?
Yeah.
You know? So I would spend all Sunday meal prepping 100 meals. There goes my Sunday.
Yeah.
You know? And then it was no coincidence that I would actually send clients to Mexicali Grill.
Wow.
Because Mexicali Grill it's been there at the McHenry Village for over 20 years. I'm doing plugs. Huh?
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
That's
what it's for.
It's been there for 20 years, and they've always been known for healthy Mexican food. You know, good oils, good fats, good vegetables, and whole foods. Yeah. And
you're right by Sprouts.
right there you go. And then the opportunity to partner up and be an owner to take over Mexicali Grill approach. And I'm like, wait, all right, I had to pray about it. And then my partner, who's Christian too, an awesome person, I prayed about it. And at first we're like, okay, we're friends.
Yeah.
Do we really want to do this?
Yeah.
But I know his heart. He knows my heart. And we prayed about it. And we dived in. Yeah. But we wanted to make some changes, you know. We're not from Mexicali, so
right.
You know, so God said go for it.
Yeah.
Now we're doing meal preps out of there.
Yeah.
You know, and want to offer a little bit more of our culture and Mexican food, but healthy.
Yeah. Wow. So on the screen, guys, you should be able to see. You can scan the QR code there. It'll take them to their Facebook page, and you can like it and follow them. And if you're in the Stanislaus County area, stop by. Have some good fresh food, man. It's really good. You have an awesome salad. I don't have my name on the menu yet. I'm just saying.
I'll get it.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, man. But it's a good spot if you ever want to check it out. And it's locally owned, family friendly environment. More changes to come to the building, right, and all that type of stuff in the middle renovation and all the other things. But it's a great environment, man. And so now you're into the meal prepping, good food, and so forth. So what are you seeing the challenges, in this process, man, of entrepreneurship? Like you stepped into the ring there. Now, what, you're good 2 years maybe into this, 3 years maybe?
Yep.
Yeah. When was the last time you left your job? Was it 2019? No.
No, it was
2021?
Yeah, it was 21.
Yeah, so 2 years almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how was this whole process handling for you, man?
It has its ups and downs.
Yeah.
Definitely knowing, just trying to be faithful. You know what I mean? With the whole restaurant coming up, like I kind of had to pause a little bit on the strong living.
Yeah.
So balancing that and still family,
Mm-hmm.
which these platforms are supposed to be. So I'm around my family,
Right.
be able to be around my family more,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But I need to go sit out all the ground all over again from
Right.
the beginning, you know. So what I'm trying to say is that I have to farm it out before we can see the fruit.
Yeah.
So we're grinding it out, which is cool though, because the restaurant also with my partner, we have kids, and the restaurant, we saw the vision of helping us discipline our kids and show them responsibility through there, because I can ask my daughter, go clean your room.
Yeah.
She don't want to clean her room,
Right.
but she'll go clean up a table and wipe it down. You know, she'll run over there. There's
That's
something
awesome.
different, you know what I mean?
That's true.
Because now it's a little bit of theirs too.
Yeah,
you
that's
know
true.
What I mean?
That's cool.
And you see that, and you just say thanks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 'Cause
Yeah.
it's but right now we're still grinding it out. You know, it's still laying down the foundation.
Yeah. So what would you say is probably the hardest challenge you've ran into so far, man? Like, what is, just be as honest as possible. And then what was the biggest challenge? And then what was, how did you overcome that so far?
I think it would be financially.
Yeah.
I think I've depleted my savings.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but there's always enough. There's just always enough there. And that's when I just say thank you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just moving forward, because a tree's not going to give you that fruit right away. You know, what I mean? We're just kind of just waiting it out and taking care of the tree.
Mm-hmm.
But there's just always enough.
Yeah.
You know,
That's good. That's good, man. And so, growing up, you told us a little about where you came from and all that type of stuff, and now you're into this entrepreneurship space. And what is one thing that I guess you would say that any regrets so far? Any regrets? I mean, and maybe they're not regrets, or maybe they're like a little hesitation. I think you said a little bit like, should I go back? Should I leave this? Right? Like,
yeah, that's just me wanting to be comfortable.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I know that we're not meant to be comfortable.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I say that just kind of almost jokingly, because I know it's just a safety net. But
Yeah.
God promised me so much more,
Yeah.
and I'm just can't wait to see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to find joy in everything that I am doing, and bringing joy. Something really crazy about the restaurant, man.
Yeah.
The Holy Spirit works.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
He's there all the time. You know how many people walk in and we're talking about God?
Yeah. That's awesome.
A lot.
Yeah.
Our customers come in and they're like, your vocabulary, they're like, what church you go to?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we're like, oh, and then we start talking about God. And
Yeah.
other people are listening. So it's already planting seeds for, like, even maybe non-believers that are there. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm just trying to find joy in this journey. You know what I mean? Just writing it out.
That's good, man. So any concepts from your leadership skills development side like that you would want to share to men out there? Any two nuggets, one or two nuggets for men?
Just honestly, it's discipline.
Yeah.
Just if something, don't convince yourself that you're not going to want to do something. Don't give yourself the opportunity.
Ouch.
that right there, because you're going to convince yourself not to do something.
Why you look at me, man? I'm just kidding.
No, I saw his eyes
I'm
going
all-
like this.
like this.
No, and it's crazy because
So good.
even like a big job, I'm working on a car, and you have to disassemble the whole car.
Yeah.
And these are like very expensive, intimidating cars.
Right.
And giving confidence to one of your technicians to be like, hey, just one step at a time.
Yeah.
Just don't focus on the big problem, the whole thing. Just do one thing at a time and don't think about it. Just go ahead and do it. You know what I mean? Just do it. And a couple people came back and were like, yeah. And I'm going to just apply that to life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just do that in life. Just don't. Just do it. And it's funny because I tell my kids, just Nike it.
Yeah.
Just Nike it, 'cause just do it.
Yeah. No, it's good.
And that's something, just discipline. Everybody knows, how would I say that? It's like, I don't have any new information to give. I'm just trying to be the bridge of maybe making you understand how it might work and how it might help you do it.
Yeah.
And accountability. I just want to be there to make you accountable and making you believe that you could do it.
Yeah.
And then from there, it's all you.
Right.
You know, and discipline is the number one thing that I would say. Just that's the one key thing.
Yeah.
It helped me.
Yeah.
And I really try to push people to do.
Yeah. Go ahead, Serge.
You know, I'm a counselor for a profession. So I'm gonna do some therapy on it right now. Okay,
I love that.
No, man. No, I just wanted to reflect a couple thoughts, and then kind of get your thoughts, kind of on your perspective, right? And but one, it's super inspirational, man. Just hearing your story, your trajectory. And I thought you were like 18 or something, man.
I'm telling you, bro.
Brothers over here, Fortune 500.
I'm telling you, bro.
I'm from Guanajuato. We don't
Hey,
age.
I'm telling you, man. Give me some of that water.
And so, yeah, man. And so, you know, another thing that I heard as you're sharing your story, you know, I think it was a phrase I heard, you know, recently, but it talked about how kings provide, and you obviously provide for your family, and now you also provide for the community, and all this, right? It's also a testament that God obviously trusts you, and He trusts you with a lot. Right?
Yeah.
Not anybody can walk down the street and say, "I run a restaurant. I own a restaurant." And and so, you know, I think, you know, I see God looking at you, and you know, how are you going to steward my blessings, and also looking at your obedience. I think going back to obedience. And so, you know, as you look back at like these blessings that he's gifted you, right? The blessing to bless other people, right? Through the restaurant, through the business with your wife. Like, how do you, you know, and those quiet moments, right? There's this, at church we learned this, when you study the Bible in different ways. Lectia Divina is you let God speak to you, and then you speak back to God, right? And so God's obviously speaking to you, man, in a beautiful way through your family, your business, the restaurant. Again, just the opportunity to be a blessing and provide for your community. And those quiet moments, you know, how do you respond back to God? And you know, I'm going to probably state the obvious with gratitude.
Right.
But as you kind of dive into that gratitude, like, you know, in your thoughts, like, you know, and so I'm whatchamacallit, I forget the word, speculating, right, that you have some of those quiet moments where you might be driving down the street, around the freeway, and these thoughts begin to come in, and you're like, dang, God, you know. And then you said something good too. You're convinced that God has a promise for you, much greater, abundant, and sometimes, right? Sometimes for men or women or whoever, there's maybe seasons or moments of doubt or, gosh, but so speak to that. Speak to your that you I see your eyes, man. You're like God has this promise for me. It's just a fact. So speak to if you can, like, you know, how do you reflect on those moments to kind of all these blessings that God has given you to be a blessing to others, and just that determination, right? That sense of being convinced, hey, God has this promise.
Yeah.
And
That's good.
Well, I think I've gone through quite a bit where I've recognized that there's no coincidence. They're too specific in my life, and they're too it's just God speaking. You know what I mean? And answering too.
Loudly too.
Yeah, I don't know how to exactly explain it, but it's like I tell my son. Well, my son asked me, how do you know when God's talking to you? I'm all, you know what? If you're listening, you're gonna hear him.
Yeah.
And it could be with the song that just pops up, or you can just be walking down the street and two random people having a conversation, and one sentence comes out of that person's mouth aligned to your thought or your prayer, and you just like, okay, you can either say that's a coincidence,
Right.
Yeah.
to me that's like, okay, that's
hear
my
you.
confirmation.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. Or I have a thought, and it happened today too. Me and Miguel, my cook, we're talking about God.
Yeah.
And down the road, like maybe third customer that comes in confirmed it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I can either brush it off and say, oh, it's a coincidence. But since I'm constantly trying to listen, I'm like, okay, that's how he speaks to me, at least. You
That's
know what I
good.
mean?
That's good.
You had another question in there? I think it was a two-part.
No, man, it was just that one, just being convinced about this promise, and then just the reflecting on all these blessings. And but I do appreciate you, man. I think you bring up a super great point of being mindful enough not only to think about God throughout the day, but like in Spanish, there's a saying that says el que busca encuentra. He who looks will find. And if we're constantly looking for God's voice, then it'll find us. Yeah,
That's good.
And I think to answer the second part of being how convinced I am, and know that there's more, because I don't want to be comfortable. And he knows. He told me, and it's in scripture, that don't be comfortable. There's more. Wherever you want to settle, that's where you're going to settle. You know what I mean? And the way I'm always searching for his word or great people around me where like keep me aligned, because I'm telling you, if it wasn't for amazing people that I sometimes call you guys angels, you know what I mean? But is that they've been in my life and ping pong me to the right direction, kind of it.
Yeah.
You know?
That's good.
That's, to me, that's God.
Yeah.
You know? And then I just want to go faster
Yeah.
towards his promise.
That's good.
I mean? Yeah, and all that listening, I'm just convinced.
Yeah.
You know, that helped me convince. Yeah.
Seems like there's a settledness, right? Like, I mean, I think for a lot of men out there, we deal with these pressures, we deal with these uncertainties, we deal with a lot, whether it's financial, whether it's sexual, whether it's whatever it is, like we deal with a lot of these pressures in our life. And sometimes we start doing things that we feel like, okay, this is the right step. And then boom, we hit a wall, right? And so then what do we turn to? We either turn to certain things, blah, 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 blah. But this kind of leads into why we're here today about Sharpen and really just hearing the story and sharpening each other, just listening and learning from your story of what you've been through, what you've gone through, and how this risk that you've taken, you know, and stepping into the arena of entrepreneurship, and also kind of just leading and listening to the voice of God in your life to build up your faith, to build up your family, and to give back into the community with your providing jobs and so forth and other things. So what do you think, this is probably our last closing question here, but why do you think a space like Journeyman is important to you, man? Why do you think a space like this is important, man?
All right, so you said you're a counselor, right?
Yeah, but go easy on me.
So I've had counselors. I have a spiritual counselor. I have a life coach.
Speak up a little bit.
And yeah, I have
There you
a
go.
life coach, a spiritual counselor, and someone also. I saw a counselor in order for me to really identify my behaviors and see what triggers my behaviors. And sometimes it becomes a habit, and then you're just again in a circle, right?
Yeah.
So that emotion drives your behavior, and then the behavior, if it's repetitive, becomes a habit. And understanding these things can help someone come out of a certain habit or be more disciplined. So through me having a life coach and a therapist, and I saw the change in me. You know what I mean? And I you don't have to be. People think, oh, you're going cuckoo, see a therapist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's not. It's just help. It's help for people, for anybody that needs to know how to navigate through those emotions and understand. So, and I can understand it if I'm studying it, and then I can share that with other people. Yeah. And that's one of the avenues that I want to go back to school now. You know what I mean? And I think I was holding up a lot inside. I wouldn't talk. I was the man.
Yeah.
I needed to figure things out by myself. One way or the other way, I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But as soon as we left that guard down, soften your heart, and then you actually ask for help, journeyman, in this scope with people that are running through the same journeys. And I also feel, man, that everybody goes through this. We're all reading the same book.
Yeah.
And it's just different chapters maybe, and we can relate and help each other.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I encourage people to talk more, especially men.
It's good.
And I know it's helped me.
Yeah.
And be a better father.
Right.
Better husband, be more disciplined.
It's good.
And I'm going to jump in quick
because
there are some folks, especially, if you haven't been exposed a lot to counseling or the idea of sharing. But, right when you said that, I hadn't really thought about it. Maybe, I don't know. But the Bible calls Jesus great counselor, everlasting Father. So I said, sign me up.
Hey, I heard that.
And, one
good.
thing I'll share that you reminded me of this in a conversation at work. You talked about behavior, and a lot of the times we'll get stuck right there. Man, gosh, can't believe this. That. And one of our supervisors said something. I don't know if I heard it before, but it was like one of those aha moments. He goes, when you work with people, or I work with youth, he goes, don't look so much at the behavior. I start scratching my head. So, let me see your resume, see your credentials. He goes, but he said something to the effect, but ask why, where it's coming from. And then in that process, see that the young man or young woman you're working with, you build enough relationship with them where they can trust you and open up and share. And so I sometimes tell people, because our behavior won't always align, right?
Right.
With what we're supposed to do. The Bible says how we're supposed to be. But just a reminder of we're always becoming. We're always becoming. Get counsel when you fall. Open yourself to that. Stay committed to yourself, to that promise that you talk about.
Yeah.
And you mentioned a key, one of my favorite probably phrases of the night. You said, God sent angels or something like that to ping pong me. And so it's almost like the more of God's faithfulness that you've seen in your life, the more it kind of catapults you to even you're like, oh man, no, wait a minute. There's a much bigger promise.
There's more.
There's way more that I can even imagine. And sometimes it's not even necessarily all material,
right?
But just this level of peace, or this state where whether you have a lot or little, it's this level where God could take you where just you're untouchable.
Yeah.
And people are like, hey, hey Tony, let me get some of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Right.
it's contagious.
Yeah.
You know,
Facts.
everybody having fun. If you enter a room where everybody's having fun, you want to go have fun with them too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's good.
Um,
It's good.
yeah, and learning how to fix cars. My passion was cars. My
Yeah.
first love was cars, right?
Mm.
And then working with people, my passion shifted to people.
Yeah.
So then I was unofficially mentoring them, counseling. They would tell me their problems, at home,
Investing in
whatever.
them.
Yeah, and I was just listening to them because I wanted them to. At first, I wanted them to perform, but
Yeah.
then we bonded, and then now they're considered like family.
Right.
Now it's yeah. So I can't. That's why I wanted to
You're
step out.
pouring into them now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and there's
awesome,
more
man.
and there's more people.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Man, well, it's we've been on an hour already. Time flies when you're having fun, man. When you're hanging out with the boys, man. And Tony, I want to thank you. Let's give him a big round of applause for sharing your story. Sharpen, man, we thank you for joining us tonight. And we want to, like we do, we close it out, man. Any last remarks, Sergio? Any closing thoughts? Anything you want to reflect on? Any flowers you want to give, as Patrick says?
not yet for the
Yeah.
flowers, but come back to me on the last thought. You caught me off guard.
No, you're
But I would
good.
be
You're
ready.
good. Yeah. Any last closing comments, Tony? Any last thoughts? Any last nuggets you want to share with the men out there?
Just search for God, man.
Yeah.
He's there. He's listening. He wants you. He has a purpose for you.
There you go. That's it, man. Anything else, Serge?
Yeah, Tony. You mentioned in the beginning you came from Mexico, and we see so many, not only Mexican Americans but Latinos and immigrants from all over the world. Small business, just this can-do attitude, right? Piolín por la mañana, he pump you up. Venimos a triunfar. And I think for aspiring entrepreneurs, I've also heard folks say, sometimes we love money, but other people will say love people. Some folks will love money and use people, but then when you flip it, you're in a position where you use money and love people, and that is really that foundation where you allow the gospel to operate, man. And I see that in your life, right? You use money and love people.
If we got a little bit more
Yeah, go
time,
ahead.
I wanted to share something that I always told people how I see money and time. From the day you were born to the day you're gonna, see heaven. The time is counted for, and every dollar raised is counted for.
That's good.
And money is just a tool
Mm-hmm.
for that journey.
That's right.
How you spend it, money comes and goes. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? People in relationships, like, man, if it wasn't for people in relationships, I don't even think I would be here.
Right.
So I was telling you, people were ping-ponging to my direction. Angels, I honestly do believe on that. So money's just a tool.
Yeah,
It's good.
So my message would be keep loving people.
Yeah.
Keep loving people.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's good, man. Well, I'm really appreciative, man, of you jumping on and sharing your story and highlighting what you're doing. And, if you, on the screen, you can scan the QR code there, and come out to Altos if you're in Stanislaus County in the Modesto area, some good food. You can follow them on all their tags there that we put on the screen. You can find Tony there if you're looking for a wholeness coach or wellness living, in also in addition to some good nutrition with Altos Cocina Mexican Grill in the 209 area code, man. So I'm thankful, man. Thank you for being here and having some flowers. Give you some flowers. My brother Patrick always says it's not good to give flowers when they're at the funeral. It's always good to give flowers when you're alive. When you're alive. So we want to honor you and thank you for stepping into to the arena, man. Thank you for highlighting your story here on Sharpen tonight. And, man, we're excited because we'll be back again March the 9th, the second Thursday of the month of March. We'll be highlighting a local pastor that is doing things different. And Pastor Anthony from the Center Church will be on with us. And he's got a powerful story, but also doing church differently. And it's pretty neat to see. So go ahead, sir.
I had got a call in the middle of the podcast saying that the people are calling for Zeke's story.
Hey.
Sorry, Zeke, I had to put you on blast.
That'll be soon, man, for sure.
Batman.
Yeah. Yeah. Zeke will be on here soon, probably Father's Day weekend or something. We'll see. But yeah, man, I'm thankful again, man. And I appreciate you, Tony, for jumping on. And we'll see you guys March 9th. Do us a favor, reshare this, comment, rewatch this. Let's get the algorithms up. And we'll see you March 9th with Pastor Anthony.
But today we must take a wider look. Because of modern communication and modern technology, the whole world has become our neighborhood. And we are demographically moving closer and closer to each other, and we've become a neighborhood without becoming a brotherhood.
Journeyman is a platform where men can lay down their titles, grow together, learn from each other, and be accountable to each other. Many of us deal with several problems throughout our lives, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. At times, we may feel alone in our troubles. However, Journeyman is a space where you can feel safe expressing yourself with other men that are on the same path. Journeyman is a space for people like myself who never thought they would be living purposefully in their life.